The topic of global warming has been a contentious issue for decades, with scientists and mainstream media often being accused of lying to the public about its severity and causes. While it's essential to acknowledge that not all scientists and media outlets engage in dishonest practices, there are indeed instances where information is distorted, exaggerated, or manipulated to serve specific agendas. To understand why this might be happening, it's crucial to examine the complex web of interests, motivations, and pressures that influence the way global warming is presented to the public. One reason for the perceived dishonesty is the politicization of global warming. The issue has become a highly polarized and partisan topic, with many politicians and interest groups using it to further their own agendas. Some governments and corporations may downplay or deny the severity of global warming to avoid implementing costly regulations or transitioning away from fossil fuels. In contrast, other groups may exaggerate the threat of global warming to push for radical policy changes or to attract funding for their causes. This politicization can lead to the manipulation of scientific data and the dissemination of misleading information to the public. Another factor contributing to the perceived dishonesty is the influence of special interest groups and lobbyists. The fossil fuel industry, in particular, has a significant stake in the global warming debate, and it has been accused of funding research and campaigns that cast doubt on the severity of the issue. These efforts can take many forms, from funding pseudoscientific research to orchestrating public relations campaigns that create confusion and skepticism about the science. Mainstream media outlets, which often rely on advertising revenue from these industries, may be hesitant to challenge these interests or may even actively promote their perspectives. The pressure to attract audiences and generate revenue can also lead to sensationalism and exaggeration in media coverage of global warming. News outlets may focus on dramatic and attention-grabbing stories, such as extreme weather events or apocalyptic predictions, rather than providing balanced and nuanced reporting on the issue. This can create a distorted public perception of the risks and consequences of global warming, leading to unnecessary fear, anxiety, or complacency. Furthermore, the 24-hour news cycle and the rise of social media have created an environment in which information can spread rapidly, often without being fact-checked or verified. In addition to these factors, there are also concerns about the role of grant funding and academic pressures in shaping the scientific consensus on global warming. Researchers may feel pressure to produce findings that support the prevailing narrative on global warming in order to secure funding or advance their careers. This can lead to a form of groupthink in which dissenting voices or alternative perspectives are marginalized or excluded from the scientific debate. While the scientific consensus on global warming is clear, the emphasis on consensus can sometimes stifle critical inquiry and debate, leading to a lack of transparency and accountability in the scientific community. Despite these challenges, it's essential to recognize that the vast majority of scientists and mainstream media outlets are committed to providing accurate and unbiased information about global warming. The scientific consensus on the issue is clear, and the evidence supporting human-caused global warming is overwhelming. However, to build trust and credibility with the public, scientists and media outlets must be transparent about their methods, data, and potential biases. They must also be willing to engage in open and respectful dialogue with skeptics and critics, addressing concerns and uncertainties in a constructive and evidence-based manner. By doing so, we can work towards a more informed and nuanced public discourse on global warming, one that is grounded in scientific evidence and driven by commitment to truth and accuracy.